is good, you guys? Hope you guys are all having a great start to your week. I know we are over here at the floor. Um, but let's go ahead and get right into it here, guys. So, tonight we are doing a charting session like we always do on Mondays. And first thing I want to get into here is how we started our week. Obviously, you can see I've got Tesla pulled up on the charts here. We had a nice scalp on this earlier this morning, and yeah, cannot complain with how we started the week with the price action we were given. So originally, go ahead and pull up the Discord right here. And originally, we were looking at a few things this morning. We were looking at Tesla, we were looking at Meta, and we were looking at MSTR. Let me actually move my camera out of the way and make this a little smaller. Perfect. Okay, so first thing I was looking at here, I was actually looking at Tesla to the downside this morning at 331.80, which was our low from Friday, I believe. Let me double check this. Oh, I'm sorry. This was a after hours support from the 13th. So that's what we were originally looking at. Now we were also looking at Meta 625 to the downside and MSTR at 389 to the downside. Obviously, as soon as market opened here, we ended up ripping like right off the bat. So none of our downside plays even got close to happening. So that's fine. When we have plays that we're looking at and they never even get there, I don't count that as a loss. I don't count that as a bad thing at all because there's no opportunity where anybody even should have been taking that trade in the first place. So that's perfectly okay. None of our ideas got there. It is what it is. And at that point in the day, all you can really do is make do with the price action that you are given. So that is exactly what we did with Tesla today. Let me move this back down. So I'll go ahead and show you here. Tesla, we were in this consolidation. We pushed up off open and we came right back down. We started coming back down towards our 331.80 level. We ended up getting back up here and holding opening price in this consolidation. Now, personally, I did try a very, very, very small position on Tesla puts here, and it was technically a lower probability play, but the risk to reward on it was really, really nice. So I ended up getting in here at 947 with literally 3 contracts. So basically risking a couple $100 on this. And my stop loss was going to be the top of this consolidation because if we saw this consolidation break, we were most likely going to see a push to the upside here. We did end up going back and forth here around opening price, and we ended up holding this and getting that move up. Stopped out right here at 337.50 for like a $250 loss, I think. Good news on that though is if we would have got that move down to our initial level we were watching, those 3 contracts would have been well over $1,000 by the time I ended up taking profits on that. So risking a couple $100 to make over $1,000, I'm perfectly happy with. And this wasn't a full-on signal just because I knew it was a riskier play in the first place. I did let everybody know what I was doing, but I also made sure to tell everyone that this is definitely not a play to take if you basically can't afford to do that. And then we ended up getting this break of the consolidation. The next thing I was watching for is if we broke high of day. The safest move for me to make on days like today, where the market was just absolutely ripping, and I'll move my camera again because this is NQ down here. NQ was basically ripping all morning here, and the safest move for you to make on days like this are if the market is basically completely detached from your stock. Your safest move is to wait for as much confirmation as you possibly can. And that's exactly what we ended up doing here. Could we have played the high of day break? Yes, but it is not the safest move overall. The safest move would be to wait for high of day to break, wait for them to confirm that we are making higher lows. We're holding this new base here, basically. We're making a new base at high of day, and then look for a continuation off of that. So we had a pre-market resistance here at 341.32. That was going to be my target for this play. And we ended up breaking high of day, holding on this retest here. And once we started getting some momentum back up towards the new high of day, I was interested in calls at this point in time. I was looking at the 350 calls. I ended up taking it here on this candle at 10:09, and I'll show you guys the signal here. So let me pull this into frame. If you look right here, that was the signal from this morning at 10:09. I bought 350 calls here, and then on the same candle, I ended up selling 75% of my position on this because we basically got a straight push almost to our target. We were at this point 3 cents off. So being 3 cents off a target and holding like this, I figured I was going to take off the vast majority of my position here and let the rest of it either ride for 342 break, or if we started showing some red flags, I was going to take off the rest there. I ended up taking off the rest of my position on this 10-12 candle right here as we were basically slowing down with that momentum. Now, we did end up coming back down to where we would have essentially been break even on this play, creating another higher low and then continuing through 342. But at this point in time, I was already out of my trade. It was a nice clean play. I couldn't have asked for much more at that point in the day after pretty much everything had gone the opposite direction that I needed it to. So knowing that, I just wanted to get into a play, make a nice quick profit, clean move, and take advantage of what I could. I ended up being up like $700 on the day, which not the craziest, but also cannot complain. So that's the trade that we took for today. Now, at this point, we can move on to the actual charting session and finding our setups for tomorrow. So starting this off, I do want to go over the calendar here. And I might just pull this up on Google. And then pull these up. I will pull that into frame as well. All right. There is our economic calendar for the week, and here is our earnings calendar for the week as well. So economic calendar for the week. I need to move my camera again. Let's go ahead and just make this, or well, I'll just move it a little off frame here. But economic calendar for the week. Monday, we're already done with. Tuesday, we have a couple speakers at 9 a.m. We have some Treasury buyback announcement at 11. Bill. Okay. And we have some speakers at 1 and 5 as well. So nothing too crazy as far as news goes tomorrow. Nothing that should be holding up the market and nothing that should be really controlling the market that crazy. Wednesday, kind of the same story. We have petroleum status report at 10:30 a.m. These are all good things to write down, by the way. If you guys have a planner or a notebook that you write out your trade ideas in, write down these news announcements or these speakers, just so you know when things are happening. You don't necessarily have to know exactly what they're saying, but as long as you know that they're there, you can expect some type of reaction at each one of these times. So 10:30 on Wednesday, we have petroleum status report, like I said. And then Thursday is where we really get the news for the week. We have jobless claims at 8:30, going to affect our pre-market. PMI composite flash, this is one I always watch out for. This is at 9:45 a.m. on Thursday. That is most definitely going to have a reaction in the market. Existing home sales at 10 a.m. on Thursday. Usually we don't see too crazy of a move off of this, but once again, it's always something to keep in mind. Natural gas report at 10:30, and other than that, Nothing too crazy. Balance sheet at 4:30 after close. And then Friday, we have Powell speaking at 2:40 p.m. That is something to at least keep in mind. So usually when we see Powell speaking, we'll see Powell speaking anywhere between 9 a.m. and, well, usually like 2:30 on FOMC days. And then usually we'll see him somewhere around like 10:30, 11 o'clock, where it's early enough in the day, it would make sense for the market to kind of wait up on him. With this late of a time on Friday, there's two things that could happen here. The market could either just do its thing like it normally would and just not really care, not wait up, because the majority of people that are trading are going to be gone way, way, way before 2:40 p.m. on a Friday. So we might just see the market react like normal and move like normal. We could also see the market wait up and be choppy up until he speaks. That would be surprising to me, though. If we see the market be waiting up like usual and being choppy until he's done speaking or until he starts speaking, I would be surprised to see that happen on a Friday, just because on a Friday, contracts are expiring. By 2:40 on a Friday, I am most definitely not going to be here. Our contracts are going to be like 45 cents a piece at the money, and they're going to be getting absolutely just smashed all day long. So, I mean, at that point in time, even if we have a setup, I'm not going to be here, just because our contracts are not going to be safe to trade in the slightest. So that's something to keep in mind. We could either see the market be completely normal and just act like nothing's happening, or we could see the market be choppy all day long. And in that case, I'm not going to be looking to take anything. Now, earnings. Nothing really earnings-wise for me this week. We have Baidu and we have Snow. Those are the only two that I'm going to be keeping an eye on because they are on my watch list. But these stocks, Baidu and Snow, those are my like backup stocks. If we have absolutely nothing on anything else that we typically look at, I'll take a look at Baidu, I'll take a look at Snow. But these stocks have very low stock volume and very low contract volume 99% of the time. So typically, even if I'm looking at one of these and it does have a setup, I'm usually not even putting that much weight towards it because we just don't have volume all around. So with them having earnings, I would be interested to actually take a look at these and actually consider my options as far as setups go here, because we should have a little bit more volume due to earnings being released. So those are two things I'm going to be watching out for. But other than that, there's nothing on my watch list that we have earnings on that I'm going to be paying attention to. So that is what I've got for news. That's what I've got for earnings. And let's go ahead and get into the watch list here, A to Z, to see what I'm liking for tomorrow and the remainder of the week. Also, if you guys have any stocks you want me to take a look at, feel free to drop them in the comments. Drop the stock and drop the level, and I'm happy to check that out. If you send me a random stock that I never look at and send me no level, then I'm probably not going to be able to give you the best answer that you're looking for, because I don't know what you're looking for. So drop the stock, drop the level, and I'm more than happy to take a look at it. And also, before we get into this, I do just want to say, if you want to try out the floor, if you want to trade live with me every single day, click the first link in the description. There should be a 3-day free trial linked on that. So we would love to see you guys in the community and taking these trades with us and making some moolah. Let's see here. So Apple, not a huge fan. I really don't even like downside on this. I don't like Apple up until we get back up to this 213.43 level is actually broken now. But what is this? High right here. 213.94. I'm not interested in Apple until we get up to 213.94. So we've got a little ways to go here. Airbnb, low volume, no contract volume. Some of these stocks, I swear, I'm going to take off my watch list. I need to actually just take them off because they never have any contract volume, but I have not gotten around to that yet. AMD looks like we could come up for a nice reversal overall, but I have a feeling we're probably going to see some better setups than just today's high and the after hours resistance right here. I'll go ahead and mark those and leave that just in case, but I do have a feeling we're going to see some better looking setups than this. So overall though, AMD does look like it can make a nice move back up. Even if we do end up seeing downside on this, we could probably see a pop overall to around the 118, 119 area before we see any move back down, as long as obviously we stay strong on this. Really is just dependent on what the market wants to do at this point. Amazon actually does not look bad from today, but I have a feeling that will be broken. So let's see here. 207 doesn't look bad on Amazon. If we could get high of day from today, we've got a really nice ascending triangle right here. So that looks pretty solid. Haven't looked at Amazon in a minute as far as like an actual trade plan watch list goes. AVGO came back up super strong today. I do like this 235.28. I will even high on this 234.46. Okay, yeah. So 234.49 I would be interested in on AVGO. Kind of thing is ridiculously strong this morning. It was ripping with the market. BA. I would be interested in the 180-day highs on BA, but we are about $4 away, which is a pretty sizable move for BA. But I will go ahead and mark this, and we can throw it on the watch list just in case. Baidu, not going to really pay attention to until those earnings come out. Coin. Coin actually looks like it could have a nice move up as well here, but once again, I feel like we're just gonna see some higher quality setups than this, so I think I'm gonna hold off on marking this for now. I like how we actually moved back into this 1 hour trend. We broke to the downside quite a few times. We ended up moving back up here, and it looks like we're actually respecting this pretty well. So overall, that actually could be a nice move. All right, moving on. Costco absolutely ripped today. It's coming up to a nice 4 hour resistance, but we have no contract volume on this stock, so not much I can do with that. Crowd looks good on the 4 hour as well, but this is another one of those that just has hardly any contract volume, so it makes it very difficult for us to play. PAL, I'm all good. EDOG, I'm all good. Disney, in another consolidation here. Disney is an interesting one. I used to play Disney fairly frequently. I have not played Disney in a very long time though. This thing really has just kind of lost its volume. Like even at open here, what did we have on this opening candle? 192,000. And then after that, we dropped to 16K, 20K, 8,000, 9,000. That's insane. 300,000 on the opening candle, and everything after that is like barely in the 5-digit range. Google up until we get to this high, which is 169.41. Yeah, I'm gonna be uninterested in Google until 169.41, but that actually does look really nice once we do get up there. Just got a ways to go. IBM actually broke 180-day highs today. Oh wait, is that all-time highs? Let's see. That is all-time highs. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Have you checked Microsoft yet? I haven't, Bolts. That's within the next like 4 stocks. Meta, I know Meta was ripping this morning off the open. I don't think I'm going to be looking at anything on Meta for a little bit here. Maybe Wednesday, but I doubt that I'm going to be looking at this tomorrow. It doesn't look bad. It's another one of those, just like Coin, just like AMD, where we could see a nice move up, but also just not the cleanest setup in the world. So trying to filter out those that all look exactly the same. So Microsoft finally broke out of this consolidation range. I have about 1 billion lines here from when we were in this. In just a second. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna put this back and remove. Okay, so Microsoft actually does not look bad here. I would play this 459.59 into the 460 break. The only issue with Microsoft is how much room do we really have on this? We have a 1 hour trend that leads up to 460.77. Looks like we're holding above the 30 minute. Got room to 461 on the 15 minute, 461 on the 5 minute, but that trend is super whack, so I'm all good on that. So 460.77 is realistically, I actually think we have more room than that on the stock, but as far as what the trends are showing, that would be the most realistic one to look at there. And that would be the one you would have to base your risk to reward off of. That would be the only one that makes sense. Because if you start overshooting your expectations, overshooting your targets and all that, it throws off your stop losses as well. And then it puts you in an interesting position where you think you had really good risk to reward leading into that trade, and then you actually realize you don't, because the stock really didn't have as much room as you expected it to. So that's also why in my trade ideas, I try and offer multiple targets, and usually one of them is like so close that it's like, why did you even write that down? Because the more realistic that you set your expectations, the easier it's going to be for you to have solid risk to reward on a lot of your plays. Because if you're just saying like, oh shoot, like if I looked at this right here on the 1 hour, or what was this, 30 minute? Yeah, if I looked at this on the 30 minute on MU, I was looking at high of day from today, which is 99. And I say, okay, we have room on this to 102 or 101.89. That means that I can have, you know, a wider stop loss than I really should, because the trend is lining up here at 101.89. When realistically on this, I would be surprised to see the 100 break, right? Or not necessarily surprised, but the 100 break would be a fantastic target for this trade. So that's why I throw in multiple targets there, combining like psychological levels, trends, other resistances, all that. So anyways, Netflix, I took Netflix off my watch list quite a while back, and then I added it back on Friday, looking at 1200. I actually still really like 1200 on Netflix. Netflix is one of those, though, you've got to be so careful when you're trading this stock. And really, it's mainly with your position sizing. You have to be so careful with your sizing because the spreads are insane. The stock moves insane, like literally moves like it's on crack. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, actually. My bad, YouTube. But the stock moves like so randomly. Like you'll get these nice bursts of really clean price action, and then you'll just get the choppiest, nastiest like movement that you've ever seen in your life, and then it'll go back to a smooth burst of price action that you can actually read. And you know, one of our biggest things is reading price action. So when you're trading a stock that's like damn near unreadable sometimes, it takes away a big portion of your edge in the market, which is why I took it off my watch list in the first place. Now, I will say, if we get the play off open, it's no problem. It's usually like after 10, 15 minutes of the market being open, that's when Netflix starts to become an issue, because that's when it has time to just kind of die out and get into its choppy, disgusting madness of price action for the day. So the main reason I'm even gonna put this on the watch list is if we can get it off open, if we can get it in the first like 10 minutes of the day, that's gonna be the ideal time frame to get this play. Anything after that, I'm probably not even gonna look at it. So yeah. Moving on here, Nvidia. We've been battling with this 136.60 for feels like a while now, but let me actually fix this. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a closer look here. 136.60. We've broken it, but not by much. 136.89 would be our new level to look at here. I don't know, however, if I am still super interested in this level overall. We should have a 1 hour trend on this. We do. So 137.14 is where that lines up. And it might be a safer move to wait for 138.59. Okay, so as long as we are all understanding of the fact that there isn't a 1 hour trend there at 137.14, I would be okay with looking at this. If we get a good setup into this level, like pre-market, or a good approach into it when we get to that level, I would be okay with looking at that, as long as I know for a fact, like, yes, that's where the 1 hour trend is. So we know there's a high probability that we could see some type of pullback, some type of reaction there. Roblox at, I believe, all-time highs here. Give me 1 second to fact check that. Available. Okay, no, not even remotely close. We are definitely at 3-year highs though, so that's still something. 82.02 on Roblox actually looks really, really good. I do like that a lot. Contract volume is the biggest thing with this though. It would be so much easier if we could just know that every stock has solid contract volume behind it, but it's just not the case, unfortunately. So see here, there's a couple more stocks to go through before we start writing out the watch list, but see, Snow has earnings, but just a look here, even that consolidation is just not the cleanest. And then let's look at Tesla. Does Tesla have anything that I'm interested in? Not really. So we've got a while on Tesla before I'm super interested. I know this wick is like, you can take it or leave it there, but as far as other levels go between here and basically Friday's highs, I'm not really interested in anything on this. So the only thing I would be interested on Tesla is actually if we came back down, which we're far away right now, so I'm not going to be writing out any trade ideas for that. Perfect. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get into making the watch list here. Before I move on to making the watch list, is there any other stocks that you guys would like me to check out as far as tonight's lesson goes? Because once we get to writing the watch list, I want to finish the watch list. So if you have anything, now would be the time to ask. APP. Somebody brought this up last week, I believe. I don't think I had ever looked at this stock. That actually looks really nice at 380.70. Wow. Yeah, Bolts. I'm going to definitely throw that on the watch. That looks really, really good. Let's see. I'll go ahead and throw this in. I was going to replace something with it, but I'll just throw it in there. Yeah, APP actually looks really, really nice, Bolts. Okay, cool. Contract volume doesn't look completely atrocious. We've got decent volume on the 380s. Got good volume on the 400s, but that's super far. I don't think I'd want to go that far out if I didn't have to. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get to the watch list here. I'll find out targets for APP here in just a second, but as far as the setup goes, I actually do really like that. All right. Are we still going to be looking at AMD now that we see everything else? Let's see here. Actually, yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. It's got a lot of potential because once we get above this pre-market high, or after hours high at 115.78, this thing's got a lot of room. So I'll definitely still be paying attention to that. Let's see. All right, AMD, low caps lock. Here we go. Looking at 115.53. Through our pre-market high at 115.78. Actually, tomorrow morning it will not be our pre-market high, so at 115.78, above 115.78, we have a ton of potential to rally, targeting a move on this to, where am I targeting? Let's see, I want to check for trends here real quick. We're breaking the 15-minute trend. Okay, so like 116.44. All right, beautiful. I did want to put something here at 116.44. All right, cool. Moving on. Amazon. $206, 62. Okay, let's see here. Back on the 1 hour. All right, there's Amazon, APP. Look for targets here. Oh, okay. 5 minute. Okay, the 5 minute trend. That's probably going to be way higher at that point in time. So let's just work our way back here and see. We've got room on this to 383. Wow. And above that, we have room all the way up to. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That is wrong spot. All right. $393. Okay. So this thing, what did we go from today? We opened at 355. We saw a high of 375.84. So this thing moved $20 today. On a normal breakout, let's see what do we move here. High here is 361.95, and then move all the way up to 380. So $20 moves on this is actually not super uncommon. So let's see, because this is essentially the same type of setup right here. This is the 13th. Go 5, 13, 2025, 13, 2025, and we'll do the 1 minute here. So this actually, oh shoot, let's see. Need to All right, when we saw this, okay, realistically, we got 361.95, 365.50. Okay, so like $4 before we saw another pullback, and then a continuation, so 368.47. So about $7. Okay, $5 to $7 would be like a normal breakout to expect from this. But this pre-market high right here, take a look at that. So 350, 358, got so okay, about $6. Okay, so on the breakouts on this, it can get like $5 to $7 pretty easily. So knowing that, go ahead and just take a look at this. So on the 4-hour, we actually have easy room up to 383, which I would be okay with just targeting 383 on this, to be honest. But it looks like we could probably target around 385 if we really wanted to. But APP targeting a break. Easy to 383. All right, cool. So APP showed a huge amount of strength today, leading back up to our flat top at 380.70. If we can get a continuation of this momentum, I'll be looking to take this at the 380.70 flat top, targeting a move through 381. Then we have easy room to 383 on the 4-hour. Overall, if we break 383, I'll be watching for momentum into 385 for my final target. Beautiful. AVGO. Wow, we're gonna have like a million things on the watch list here if we don't cut some stuff out. AVGO, I actually am probably going to pass on for now. If I end up throwing that in there pre-market, you guys in the Discord, whether you're free or whether you're paid, you guys are gonna see that. So let's see. Coin, I'm gonna skip on as well, or I may actually throw coin in the side watch. We'll have to see. DAL, I don't know why I still have this marked. Google looks really good. I'm gonna have to throw that on here. Looking at 169.41 flat top, targeting a break of 170. Google, Microsoft. Okay, so Microsoft actually just broke our high from today. If we break 460 on Microsoft, I'm not going to be interested. So knowing that, I'm going to save Microsoft for the morning as well. Netflix, I do like 1200. Netflix, looking at 12. guess I really don't have any super specific targets on this either because that's all-time highs. So, okay, there's Netflix. Nvidia. That 1 hour trend on Nvidia sketches me out. Okay, so I'm gonna go back through here and see which ones that I left out. I think everything else from here is gonna be in the side watch section. So let me go back. Microsoft, I really don't have anything to write down for Microsoft right now. Ready with a recovery to Friday's high. I like how we are holding inside of this 1 hour uptrend channel. Are building. All right, there's coin, and I might as well throw AVGO down here as well, because AVGO, it looks good. It just didn't look as good as some of these other ones. I guess the main thing that didn't look as good about it to me is these other stocks have a little bit better contract volume than AVGO does, so I wanted to throw those in there first. Looking at our 235.28 resistance. there is AVGO. I'm looking at this 235.28 resistance for a breakout. I'm targeting a move to our next major level at 237.93. Now, I did say here, if we don't take the 235.28 resistance, I would still be interested in 237.93 for a separate play, since it is a big resistance on the larger time frames, and it could provide a very nice move for us. So this is that 237.93 level. And honestly, if you have the mental ability to make it through this, 237.93 is most likely going to provide a very nice break up to probably around 240. So if you have like the balls to do this, I guess, holding 235.28 up to the 240 break would not be the worst idea in the world. It's all really just dependent on how the price action is for me, because if it's giving us some iffy price action above 235.28, I would be, not necessarily for myself, but mainly for the chat, a little bit more skeptical about trying to hold this for an entire move like that. Because I know, like, for me personally, I'm okay with taking some profits off, or basically treating my position as a half position, and even being in the position to add more at this 237.93 level, so you don't feel like you're just a sitting duck in that trade. But I know for a lot of people in the chat, like, once you're green on a trade, they do not want to go red. So it's really just dependent on your risk tolerance there. If you can risk that, or you're comfortable holding plays, or you're comfortable doing anything like that, this could be a huge setup. So yeah, I mean, AVGO, it looks really good, and it's got a ton of potential, but it's all going to be based off of the price action we're seeing at that point in time, because as many things as we can control and look for and be prepared for and all that, we cannot control how the market moves. So it's going to get there how it's going to get there, and you've just got to be prepared and ready for whatever scenario it gives us here. But like I said, it's got a ton of potential, so just keep that in mind. I think, okay, we got Coin AVGO, we have AMD up here. Is there anything else that I was missing? I skipped NVIDIA, but that, like I said, that NVIDIA 1 hour trend just kind of sketches me out, so I'm not too interested in this. I think once it breaks out, it's going to be a very nice break. The only difficult part is figuring out when it's actually going to break out here. And the main thing that I'm worried about is just that we have this basically ceiling here that's all it's there to do is just push us right back down. And when it's that close to our entry level, I just don't like writing down stuff like that, because we're basically setting up ourselves with like a nice play and a roadblock right on the other side of our entry. So yeah, I mean, NVIDIA, once again, still does not look bad, and there's a possibility that I'll be looking at it in the morning, but this is what I've got for now. Let me go ahead and Google's upside, Netflix's upside. I think all of our trade ideas for tomorrow are upside. So yeah, they are actually. They are all upside. So this is what I've got for tomorrow and the rest of the week. If you're not in the floor, make sure you take a screenshot of this, get these levels plotted on your own charts, and take these trades with us. And if you do, if you're not in the floor and you take these trades just based off this live stream, post it on your Instagram story and tag me at Keith Trades, because I would love to see that. I know there's a couple people that message me every now and then when they're on Threads and they see the ideas I post on Threads, and they just message me and say like, hey, I made this much off of your trade idea this morning. So that's cool. But if you guys take any of these plays and make any money from this live stream, it's an hour of your time that you spent, and you got a nice return from. So if you do that, I would love to see it. Make sure you tag me. If you're not in the floor, like I said, take a screenshot of this. If you are on the floor, I'm going to send this in the chat in just a moment. But check that first link in the description right there. You should have a free 3-day trial. Come trade with us. Come to the lesson. Multiple lessons a week in the chat. I say multiple. We have what? Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for now. I want to start adding in Saturday lessons as well. I just don't know how many people are going to show up. But anyways, we've got 4 live lessons a week in the chat. We've got live trading every single morning, pre-market review every morning before the market opens, so you know what we're looking at, what we're planning to do, trade ideas, obviously community in there to talk to and interact with as well. And it's just a good spot to be. So I would love to see you guys in there. If you're not, make sure you click that first link in the description, and I will see you guys first thing in the morning for pre-market review.